be making my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. My goal was to construct a chocolate chip cookie recipe that tasted delicious but still had like healthier ingredients. So this is literally saved in my notes app as healthy-ish but delish cookies. Chocolate chip cookies are literally my favorite dessert ever. Like, you can make healthy cookies that's just like oats and banana baked in the oven, but I wanted to make them still taste like legit chocolate chip cookies. Okay, anyways, let's get started. So first we're mixing together the wet ingredients. I actually don't even need my iPad because I have this recipe memorized. I'm using olive oil. I've made this without the olive oil and it's just like, doesn't give that same like richness. Can you taste the olive oil? I personally feel like the chocolate chips and like the other flavors like overpower the olive oil, but Colin said he could taste the olive oil. To go with our olive oil for wet ingredients, we are using some raw almond butter. To substitute, you could really do like any type of nut butter. I feel like almond butter just has like the most like unpronounced flavor. If you live near a Trader Joe's, they definitely have the best price. I think it's like $6 something for a container of almond butter. And you need 4 tablespoons. You know what actually is a great recipe is if you blend up, this is already on my YouTube channel. If you blend up a can of chickpeas with just like plain cane sugar, makes a delicious chewy cookie. That is a recipe that's really good actually, but you have to use like real sugar. That was one of my first YouTube videos. I'm using a flax egg in this recipe, but I've also made this since I do consume eggs. I make this recipe with regular eggs too. I think the flax egg actually gives a little bit more moist of a cookie. So to make the flax egg, you need 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds, and I usually kind of like pack that in there, and 3 tablespoons of water or like some type of milk. I use soy milk. For the sweetener for this recipe, I use half coconut sugar and half date sugar. You can use all of either one. I feel like this combination gives me the best result. You need 3/4 cup total of sugar. So I do 1/4 plus 1/8 of each. At first, don't add the date sugar into the wet mixture because it absorbs like all the water and it just does not come out right. So only mix in the coconut sugar at first. The date sugar is literally just ground up dried dates, and it's the most like all natural whole food sweetener there is because it still has the fiber and all the nutrients, but the coconut sugar adds a delicious flavor. And next we're gonna mix up our dry ingredients. For the flour, I like to use this organic einkorn wheat flour. Allegedly, einkorn wheat is better than regular wheat because it's less glutinous. It's an ancient grain that hasn't been hybridized. I do 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour, and I wanted to make these like a more nutritious, healthy cookie, obviously. And I was like, how can I add some protein into these cookies so it's not just like 100% sugar? I like to add this unflavored protein powder to my baked good recipes. This is my favorite protein powder I've ever encountered. It has like almost no flavor, mung bean protein. Also, what I've used in the past is organic pea protein from this company that tests for heavy metals. I'll link that one too. Then we need our baking powder, baking soda. I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Mix this together. The date sugar just does not behave like normal sugar. It's more of like, it's just like dried up dates. Instead of like melting into the recipe, it kind of just like absorbs all the liquid. If you mix it too much, the oils will kind of separate and you don't want that. For chocolate chips, I've been using the 72% dark chocolate from Trader Joe's. I like these ones because they're like nice and big. And since I go to Trader Joe's a lot, it's just like easy to pick those up. I used to love the Who date sweetened chocolate chips, but I think they discontinued those because I can't find those anywhere. And then Trader Joe's also used to have these sugar-free ones that they also discontinued. So I just buy these ones. There's cane sugar in these, but it's a sweet treat anyways. So this is just perfect. This is how it should look. It should be kind of more like a loose dough ball. This looks delicious. And since there's no eggs in it, you can eat it. Cookie, nearly kills me. Cookie. Oh my god, those are beautiful. Okay, now do not disturb the cookies while they are resting. They need to rest in peace. I mean, these are best enjoyed fresh out of the oven when they're melty. Look at that. They don't have an egg, but they still hold together. Mmm. So freaking good. Okay, so if you let them sit a little bit, they get a little bit crunchy on the top, but like still gooey on the inside. The sun is setting, so it's shining beautifully on my cookies. Look at that. Mmm. For using whole wheat flour and like all healthy ingredients, I think this is like as close that you could get to like a real chocolate chip cookie. These are dangerous. I can't make these every night because we scarf them down. This is Colin's highly requested recipe. Look at them, they look perfect. Can you actually get out of my picture for a second so I can take a thumbnail really quick? Just crouch down a bit. Okay, stand up. Take your hood off.
No.
What's that one character's name? Gru? You look like Gru. Okay, well, here's how my cookies came out. They look perfect. For them to set up, you have to let them cool down a little bit. Cheers, me. Mmm. Oh, yeah. A little bit of crunch on the outside.
Damn.
Soft on the inside. Wow, yours is melting from the bottom.
Is got a crunch?
Yeah, the crunch is nice.
It's soft.
Yeah, so when you use only date sugar, they come out really soft. It's like a soft cookie. A lot of people following me don't like to bake or cook with oil. The oil helps give it a nice crunch on the outside and also like helps it goo up on the inside. But you can use 2 tablespoons of oil and it still works. Also, you can also use a real egg instead of a flax egg. Yeah, if you don't want to use protein powder, you can use more flour. However, I have actually not tried that. I've only ever used protein powder. Also, I made these only with a half a cup of protein powder and no flour. And that also works, but it was kind of, it like didn't hold together. What other notes do I have? Also, if you want a sugar-free cookie, I've made these with allulose. They kind of turned into like a really flat, remember that when they spread out all in the pan? They like spread out.
I like those.
You like those ones? Yeah. And, oh, I've used the Lakanto monk fruit. That works very well. So yeah, I think those are all my notes I have. If you make it exactly how I said it with these ratios, this is the best outcome though. I've made this cookie a bunch of different ways and this is probably like the best. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoy my cookie recipe. These ingredients, I was thinking of titles for this video and I was like, it could be either like the world's healthiest cookie recipe or the world's most expensive cookie recipe, because like all of these ingredients are like so expensive because they're like healthy, you know what I mean?
Cookie.
The date sugar in itself is like $13. Only the best for my Gru. Okay, well, thanks for joining me for this cookie recipe. Let me know if you tried my recipe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!